Hello, Squadcast listeners. Welcome to the 5th episode of the Squadcast. This might be a short one today because Victor has adult things to do.
That's right. But we'll make it as enjoyable as we can for the time that we're here. Zach always coughs during the podcast.
I don't do that, dude.
Like, you haven't coughed since I got here, and then the minute we start recording, you start
I know,
coughing.
I don't know. It just the vape gets to me. It just hits different.
Yeah.
As the kids say.
As the kids say.
So, we got our tea. We got our the fuck's his name? Arnold Palmer. It's pretty good.
Tea, lemonade.
That's right. So we have...
You should put the tea on the mouse pad so it doesn't make that loud noise every time. There you go. So you can just watch.
Okay, Dad.
Well, listen.
Listen, son.
Easily. You can hear
for sure.
Quite bad.
Hey,
sorry for listening.
You should stop doing that.
Oh.
So, anyways, we're going to talk about Endgame today. Should we talk about spoilers? Should we give them...
Should we do spoilers or should we do...
Yeah, we should... Okay, so if you haven't seen Endgame, I'm gonna personally put a timestamp on the Squadcast video right now. You'll see it. You will see it.
To skip to the end without spoilers.
Yeah, I absolutely will not forget to put it there.
Okay, so I don't want to do any non-spoiler talk. It's too hard, I think, with this movie.
Actually, fuck that. First of all, we should review it non-spoiler at first.
Okay.
And then get into spoilers. So I'll let you know when the timestamp is.
Okay, so then we'll... Okay. Sounds good.
Cool.
So take it away.
Excuse. So we saw it, what, Tuesday? 2 days ago?
Yeah.
It's still kind of fresh in my mind.
Same.
Overall, I think... So let's preface this by saying that Victor and I are not the biggest Marvel dudes ever. Like, we've seen a handful of movies.
Not all of them.
We've seen, like, the Iron Mans. I've seen fucking...
The first Avengers.
I've seen all the Avengers. I've
only seen the first Avengers.
True. I think it's probably the best one compared to...
I heard a lot of people like
Ultron.
Civil War.
That's Captain America. But it's like basically an Avengers.
It's basically an Avengers movie, right?
Yeah. It's a Civil War. You know?
Against the Avengers against Avengers.
That speaks for itself. So, unless you don't know what Civil War is and you didn't go to school. You didn't go to school.
You didn't go to school. So having not seen all of the movies, having only seen like a handful of them, a lot of the highs and a lot of the lows didn't hit as hard for me, which I'm not going to complain about because I haven't seen the movies.
Right.
You know, I have no right to say, you know, make this movie so that I enjoy it more. You know, it's not for me. It's not for people like me who don't watch all the movies.
Right.
It's for people that have seen every movie, that love them, and that know everything about them. Mm-hmm. And that's great. It's a perfect movie for that. Yeah. You know, it's a perfect end for this... 11-year scope of movies? Yeah. It's crazy. And it's a great movie for that. Yeah. It's just, it didn't hit me as much because of that. The fact that I don't know a lot of the references that were being made. Yeah. We definitely missed a lot of things. I picked up on a few things. I saw Spider-Man Homecoming, which I really liked. I like Tom Holland. He's a nice guy. Dude's fucking jacked. Nice guy. Dude got fucking... Yeah, I think it's so funny when he spoils shit. For me, it's funny because I don't know anything about, you know, the lore. Yeah. But I guess for diehard fans, they're probably like, come on. I watched a video today of Tom Holland spoiling things from Spider-Man and from Infinity War. Yeah. And then talking about how now he just doesn't get scripts and stuff. I think they said that he filmed all of his scenes on a green screen so that he wasn't with everybody, so he had no idea what was going on, so he couldn't spoil anything.
I saw the video of him revealing the Infinity War poster. Yeah. And he turned the fucking slip around. It was like confidential, do not share. And
I guarantee that was a marketing thing.
Yeah.
It has to be. Because he held it so perfectly up to the camera. Mm-hmm. Like him reading the back and you just see on the other side, confidential, do not share. Mm-hmm. Like that has to be set up. There's no way that was a genuine thing. Yeah. Either way, he did really well.
It's funny as hell. Yeah, so overall, I think Endgame, for me, it's a good movie. Like, if you...
It's very enjoyable.
If you go in without any prior knowledge to Marvel, I think you can you know,
you can make do.
You can get a kick out of it. I think you should probably watch Infinity War. You can't. Well, you probably shouldn't just watch Endgame and then that's it.
You definitely need to watch Infinity War first.
Yeah.
But I think even then, if you're an attentive watcher, you can watch Infinity War and then watch Endgame and not worry too much about missing a ton. You know, because if you pay attention, it's still a good 2-movie, like, small little, you know, story within those 2 movies.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you know the characters. You know who Iron Man is. You know who Hulk is.
You know who Captain America.
You know fucking Spider-Man.
Especially if you've seen the first Avengers, you're pretty much all right.
You could probably see all the Avengers and be just fine. But, like...
You're not going to have the most enjoyment out of it as you would if you have seen all the movies, you know, multiple times.
Right. Yeah.
Or even have read the comics. Because we have a friend, shout out Sean, who reads the comics. And he said that it's like one of his favorite movies now, isn't it?
I think so.
So
probably.
I think to him it meant more to us because of that connection he has to the characters in the comics and the movies that Zach and I just don't have as much.
Right.
You know, I do. And when we get into spoilers, we can talk a bit more about what that means at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But there's points in the movie that I felt, you know, sad, or I felt happy, or I felt excited about what these characters were doing.
Yeah.
But a lot of the highest highs that I think a lot of people would hit during this movie rang kind of flat for me.
Right.
Which, that's not a criticism of the movie. That's a criticism of the fact that I haven't seen it all.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. The character development is pretty big in this movie too.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. Like when we get into spoilers, we'll talk about it more. But a lot of characters, like I haven't seen like Thor. I have never seen any of the Thors. I didn't see any of the Captain Americas, but I liked them both.
Yeah.
I saw development in them, and you know their struggles, and they overcame.
Yeah.
And yeah, overall, I would say the movie's pretty good. I mean, like preface, we haven't seen all the Marvels, so take our word, like, you know, take it with a grain of salt, I guess, if you will.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're not deep into the lore, but we enjoyed the movie. I think it was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I think it was a really good movie.
It was a good wrap-up.
Especially tied with Infinity War, like we said a little bit ago, is that, you know, between Infinity War and Endgame, it's a very good 2-movie little franchise by itself, without even all the other MCU films.
Yeah.
But
it's 5.5 hours.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a decent little chunk of movie right there.
Yeah,
for you.
and I think to get again the full effect, you need to see all of them.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
I still had a great time watching it. I was still very happy to see it, and then I'm happy that I did see it. But it left me feeling kind of melancholy at the end. Right.
Yeah, even if you haven't seen a lot of the Marvels, like I got kind of teary-eyed with some stuff because I've seen.
Well, let's go into spoilers.
Let's just spoilers. Boom.
So right here's the timestamp. If you don't want spoilers, click the card or whatever the hell that Zach's gonna do to skip ahead.
I'm probably just gonna put like a time and then they're gonna have to scroll. Whatever.
Well, you could put. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, Iron Man fucking dies.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah,
off the bat.
That was the thing that hit me the most.
Yeah.
On the way that he did it, where he got there's a big fight at the end, and Thanos ends up this new Thanos, because the original Thanos is dead within the first 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, Thor went for the head. Chopped his fucking head off.
Went for the head.
I picked up on that because I saw Infinity War.
Yeah.
So.
Well, when he said that at the very beginning, when they go to Thanos and they're like, "Where the fuck are the stones?"
Yeah.
He's like, "I got rid of them." And Thor fucking cuts his hand off and then, cuts his head off. I didn't understand what he said right away because he was like, "What? I went for the head." You know, he kind of said it very kind of weird delivery on that, and so I was like, what did he just say? And then it came to me like a little bit later after I was listening to him, like, oh, he said it. He went for the head. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But and then so last podcast we talked about our predictions for Endgame, and I said I really hope they don't do time travel. And well, they did time travel, but they did it in a way that I wasn't expecting.
They did it in a not annoying way.
Yes, it still was a little bit annoying to me. It still felt kind of like an ass pull to me.
Yeah.
Especially with, Scott Lang's character Scott Lang, the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Where he kind of, just shows up, which makes sense. He finally gets let out of the whatever.
Quantum realm?
Yeah. He comes back and he's like, guys, I might know. I mean, it didn't feel like any time passed for me. We could use that to find something, And then Tony Stark just kind of figures it out. I know he's he's a genius or whatever, but the fact that it seemed like it took him no time at all to just get time travel, that just doesn't make sense to me.
I've seen that criticism, and I feel like I saw a counter argument to that. I feel like he's been kind of working on time travel. I feel like he might have been,
right?
Because there's things in the past that he might want to change or whatever, which is
right.
You shouldn't never really change the past.
Never change the
unless you have to save the universe, literally.
Well, even then, they didn't change the past at all. They went back in time to get the stones from different points in the MCU history, which was cool, right?
Yeah.
That to me kind of saved the whole time travel thing. Was that they went back and kind of a homage to the older films. Like they went back to the first Avengers. They went back to the first.
I thought that was so cool.
They went back to the first Captain America, wasn't it? Back in the 40s.
Yeah.
And Tony got to meet his dad. Captain America got to see the love of his life. What's her face?
Don't know
her name. But it was cool. They went to Guardians of the Galaxy. They went to all these different films, and that to me is what saved the time travel. In this movie was the fact that you got to go back and
see those
and from a different perspective.
Yeah.
Not just replay the old movies, but see them from new angles, see what happens after the camera cuts, like you said on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You got to see the different behind the scenes, not behind the scenes, but behind where the camera isn't at the time. Off
scene, seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool.
Which I saw something too when they go back to New York, and they try to get the Tesseract from Hydra or whatever.
Yeah.
Then Loki steals it because Thor fucking hits Iron Man or whatever, and he drops the Tesseract.
Yeah.
And Loki gets it and he teleports out. That changed that timeline.
Yeah.
That had to have.
Yeah.
Because Loki was supposed to get captured there. So, a lot of people are saying, because I think Loki's getting a TV show on Disney Plus.
Oh, neat.
So they're thinking, since he's dead in in their current timeline, people are thinking that's going to be the new TV show, is what happens to his universe after he escapes from that, and what he does after that.
For sure.
So that's interesting.
That's cool. Will I watch it? Probably not. But good for Loki fans.
Yeah, and good for Tom Hiddleston. I like him as an actor.
Yeah, he's really good. A lot of great actors in Avengers. Yeah. Just in the whole Marvel universe, like so many big names like Benedict, the other Benedict.
Wimbledon tennis match.
What?
What's his name?
Wimbledon tennis match?
Yeah.
That's fucked. Fucking Tom Holland, you got your Robert Downeys, you got your Hemsworths.
You got three Chris's.
You got three fucking Chris's.
But yeah, so in the end, Tony he dies, and that was kind of the end of this era, because it all started with Iron Man.
Yeah,
and I think it ended with Iron Man's funeral.
Yeah, I think they had to go for that because a lot of people have only seen Iron Man.
Yeah,
like you and I, we've seen Iron Mans, all the Iron Mans,
and I loved it as a kid. When they first came out, I loved Iron Man.
Oh yeah,
like it was such a great movie.
They're really good.
The whole 3 Iron Man films. I really liked the third one too, with him struggling with his PTSD from the Avengers.
Yeah,
that was the moment I think when I was like, wow, all of this stuff really is connected. They're not just all like going to be standalone movies. A lot of the repercussions follow through to the next movie, which I liked a lot.
Yeah.
But and then
hey, get out of it. Get the fuck out of it.
So him passing, I think, was a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
And the fact that Captain America went back in time to replace all the stones that they took, and then he stayed in the past.
Yeah.
Which I thought was cool. I don't know if they're gonna do another like Captain America spinoff with the black guy as, I don't know his name.
Nick Fury.
No. The one that took that he gave the shield to.
Oh. I don't know his name.
I don't know his name.
The new Cap, I guess.
New Cap, yeah. I don't know if they're going to do another film with him as Captain America or not, but it'd be interesting to see if they do.
Yeah.
But
that'd be cool.
I think, and I've seen a couple reviews of the movie since then, and a lot of people were talking about how, like, Far From Home, the new Spider-Man's going to be it's the last Phase 3 Marvel movie in this whole world that they've just built. Mm-hmm. And I really hope it kind of explores the aftermath of everyone coming back.
Yeah.
And talking about how people are adjusting to the fact that they spent 5 years without half the population, and then they all just came back.
I wonder if they told them what happened.
They knew about Thanos. They knew that Thanos did it.
Yeah.
Because in the beginning of Endgame, when Captain America's at that group thing,
right?
They're talking about the fact that Thanos took their loved ones, basically.
I wonder if they told the people that came back what happened to them.
Oh, I would assume so.
I'd hope so.
That'd
be interesting.
I watched. Shout out to Film House. That's the Funhouse guys have a podcast about movies. And that's one of the ones I watched, and they talked about how in Far From Home, in the background, there should be like a TV show where you have you have discussing like the fact that someone was in a long-term relationship, like married to someone, and then the wife or husband disappeared, and they got a new husband or wife in the 5 years, and then the old one came back.
Oh, no.
how do you deal with that?
You just kind of sorry.
Like what do you do?
Got a new bae.
Well, you can't just. I mean, after 5 years, you see your wife of 20 years.
Yeah, and you're like,
you can't just be like, oh, now I've been married to this person for 5 years. For 3 years, whatever. It's going to be interesting, and I really hope they kind of Far From Home really kind of does something with that.
What's that TV show with the dude that has 4 wives?
Oh, isn't it Mormon thing? Isn't he Mormon?
I don't know.
No disrespect to religions, but it sounds Mormon.
It sounds Mormon as hell.
I don't know. But
shout out to all our Mormon listeners. This is for you.
This one's for you.
What's it fucking called, dude? It's like
no idea.
I don't know, but the dude has 4 wives, and they just kind of all accept it. It's just one big cuck. And I'm like, that sucks.
That'd be so weird.
I'd hate that. I would never ever fucking do that.
What do you think was the best and worst moments of the movie?
I mean, I'm gonna trigger some feminists, but I hope to God that any hardcore feminists aren't listening to this podcast, because sometimes they can be kudas.
Sure.
At the end, the final battle, when all of the women show up, and it's like a thing, they're like, yeah, we're the women. All the women are here. We're going to save shit.
Well, so Captain Marvel has the gauntlet, trying to run it to Scott Lang.
Yeah.
To try and, for some reason, to go back in time at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a gauntlet, and someone comes up to her and is like, something, you can't do this alone. And then all the women of Marvel come up and they go, she's not alone.
Yeah.
And they all show up. And it's like this moment that to me felt a bit contrived. It felt a bit forced, also, because one, Captain Marvel is one of the most OP fucking characters there is.
It's the Superman of Marvel.
Basically. And literally, you see the other women kind of start battling others, and then Captain Marvel just flies through all the enemies.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
They didn't need to be there.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool that you got, I'm all for representation, dude. But, when it's forced like that, and there's no payoff, there's no point in them doing that if Captain Marvel's just going to go and blast the ship like that.
I could see if it was a different character that had the gauntlet.
Right.
If it was someone else that wasn't as OP as her and that actually could use the help from everyone else, that would feel more impactful to me.
Yeah.
But when you give it to Captain Marvel, who then just flies through all the enemies and blasts them out of the sky.
Who just fucking shows up at the end.
Yeah, and I get she was off the world, she was doing other shit, and I get that.
But still, the universe, half the universe, you think fucking saving other planets is, dude, that all those planets happen to be in that universe, which you should be help saving.
Yes, well, and I don't know if she just didn't know Thanos was on Earth at that point, but you would think when they go back in time, they'd be like, hey, Captain Marvel, can you come help us out? We're going back in fucking time.
Yeah.
Like, do you think your powers would probably be pretty helpful in this situation?
Maybe they might be helpful. You fucking...
You know, could you come back and help us, or could you come, you know...
Could you just help?
Be around, you know?
I just think it's weird. Like, she was in the beginning of it, and she saved Tony from the depths of space.
Yeah, which
very
that
beginning.
Was, you know, just out of nowhere, for some reason, she sees this ship falling.
I think
floating
so.
Through space.
Actually, I read something about Captain Marvel. The end of it, the post-credit scene.
Right.
She actually is told that Tony Stark, Iron Man, is in the depths of space with what's her name, blue bitch. Nebula. That she needs to go save them. So that kind of makes sense.
Oh, okay.
But she saves them and then is in the movie.
She pretty much goes with them to kill the first Thanos.
Yeah.
And then she is gone and she's like, well, she got a new haircut 5 years later, which I didn't like the haircut, but that's not a big issue.
Yeah.
Personally, I just didn't think it looked very good on her.
Yeah.
But
I guess it doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. You know, it's not a big important thing.
A little nitpick.
But and then she's like, well, every other planet is dealing with the same thing, and they don't have you guys, which I thought was cool. You know, that she's more of like a galactic defender than a only Earth, you know, person like the Avengers are.
Well, she could fly anywhere, you know.
Yeah, she can fly.
Not all the humans, all the humans on Earth can just fly.
Exactly.
You know?
But still, it would have been nice to have her maybe a little bit earlier in the battle. And then when she shows up, you know, all of Thanos' ships to start shooting at her. Yeah. I'm like, why would they stop shooting at the ground? You know, they almost got everyone fucking pegged down on the ground.
Yeah.
To just shoot some random woman flying into space. You know, I don't know. It just seemed weird that I was like, are they shooting at like a city? Like trying to get them to go stop something else from happening? You know, trying to get them away from
I thought it was going to be like a big ass ship or something.
Right. Well, I thought maybe like they were shooting at a city nearby. You know, like a big city that they're just firing shots into to try and distract them from the battle. Yeah. But nope, it was Captain Marvel flying in and just wrecks the ship and
just shit. No effort and flies through it.
Yeah, which again then brings back the whole women thing at the end where she didn't need their help. You know. Yeah. She could have easily fucking just flown up into the sky and went around all of it and brought it down. She didn't need to fly through them. She didn't need to fly and fight anybody. She literally could have just gone up and around. Yeah. But that's not cool. You know what I mean? That's not good filmmaking. Yeah. So
either way. Yeah, I think that's probably my least favorite part for sure, was just like it kind of just didn't make sense. Like, why'd you just show up at the end? You know? Yeah. Like, you should have been around. But it's all good. Also, I didn't like... I watched the H3 podcast I watched the review. And Ethan's kind of in the same position we're in. He hasn't seen all the Marvels and shit. He got a lot of hate because he was talking about how the humor in the movie, they overdid it too much.
I don't agree with that.
I think... Like,
I think if anything, this was the least funny.
Yeah, there were some good moments. Like, it's got to be lighthearted, you know? It can't just be all fucking serious.
Well, that's Marvel, you know? Yeah. Is more of a lighthearted superheroes franchise. Every movie has had comedy in it. Yeah. You know, like Infinity War was funny. Yeah. Like, seeing all the characters that have never met before interacting with each other is funny. You know, there's a lot of good quips that come out of it. Yeah.
I think I liked Fat Thor. I think that was funny.
Yeah. I've heard people say that they think once spoilers start coming out and people are going to be able to start openly talking about it, a lot of people are going to be upset that they're like fat shaming or something by making fun of Thor being fat.
Fuck off.
I agree.
Like, he just...
It's funny. He's the Norse god of thunder. He's supposed to be this ripped, jacked dude. I know. And he just let himself go. And that is so funny.
Because he failed.
He was in his own fucking head going about, I should have went for the head. All this would have not happened if I had just killed Thanos in that moment. Right.
And then he's in his fucking shack playing Fortnite. Which, by the way, I didn't like. I wasn't... So, because it's 5 years into the future. Right.
And some people are saying... All the good game devs got snapped. That's the thing. The only ones that's left is Fortnite.
Oh, my God.
But
they paid so much goddamn
money.
money.
Didn't actually.
What?
Someone reached out in the Filmhouse review I talked about. They reached out to Epic and asked and said, hey, what happened? What was about this? And they basically said that the guys that directed it are just fans of Fortnite. They didn't pay them anything. They wanted it in the game.
God, dude.
Or they wanted it in the movie because they're doing another crossover like they did for Infinity War. So like Fortnite's getting something, I think Stormbreaker, the axe, Thor's axe.
Oh, right.
That's going into the game soon.
So
it was kind of a crossover event, where they got to be in the movie and they get to make, and Marvel gets to make money off of this thing being in Fortnite.
Yeah, that was cool. It was fine. I don't really mind it that much. What I was kind of bothered by like, well, actually, so Ethan was bothered about, how Ant-Man goes in, when they go to New York, Ant-Man goes into Iron Man's shit and then pulls his thing. Yeah. And then he's like, "Are you wearing Axe?" And then Ethan was like, "That's just a straight up fucking product placement." And I was like, I don't think that is. No. I think they're actually dissing Axe.
Yeah, I think
because Axe is generally, regarded as one of the worst smelling
body sprays,
deodorant body sprays.
Yeah, and I think they're making a joke about that. However, when already jokes about how Axe is bad, like it's for middle schoolers. Yeah. I think they're making a joke off of that, not trying to be like, "Oh, use Axe body spray." They're being like, "You don't use Axe body spray." Yeah,
Ethan was going off about like how it was just a big product placement and it was just like so contrived, and I was like, I just think it was a dumb joke.
Yeah, I just think it was a throwaway joke. Yeah. Like, the minute after that joke passed, I wasn't thinking about Axe. I wasn't thinking I should go out and buy Axe.
It didn't take me out of it.
Yeah.
Because it was already kind of a lighthearted scene.
Well, just like saying Fortnite. I didn't go to be like, I want to play Fortnite now because it was in fucking Endgame.
Yeah, no.
I don't care about it. It was a joke.
Yeah. It's just a silly little joke.
Just a joke.
But yeah, Ethan was going on about how he thinks the humor was too much and sometimes it was cringy, and like sometimes it was.
Sometimes yes, but that's kind of comedy. Some jokes aren't going to land for everybody.
Exactly.
And
it's just how like,
I don't want to shit on the movie for the whole podcast. It was a great movie. Yeah, There's a lot of great moments.
We're picking out, or we're going over the nitpicks and what we, as non-Marvel super fans, if you will, thought about it.
Yeah. But I liked when Captain America had Thor's hammer come to him. I thought that was cool. And not being a comic guy, I didn't know that he had done that before. Mm-hmm. After the movie, Sean explained, he's done that a couple times in the comics and stuff, and it's not a new thing for him to do that, but on screen it's new.
Right.
And I guess in one of the other movies, he kind of made it move a little bit. Like the hammer, it moved a bit for him, but
I think it was Age of Ultron. I don't know.
It was one of the ones I haven't seen.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. It was a very cool moment. I liked that he was able to then, use that shit. It was awesome seeing him fucking use the hammer.
Dude, the fight scene with Thanos, Iron Man, Thor, and Cap was super badass.
So good, dude.
It was a really good fight scene.
That was so good.
Oh, yeah. Fucking
also,
God.
I liked when Pepper Potts, right? Is that her name?
Yeah.
She showed up and was in her own suit and was fighting with Tony back to back. That was really cool.
That was nice.
When all the shit started like opening up, when Cap was the only one left facing the army, and then behind him Doctor Strange opened up all the portals and let all the other heroes come through.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
That gave me Neville vibes in the Deathly Hallows when he's on the bridge.
I agree.
You're like, you and whose army? And then he gets fucking... And then the bridge blows up, and then everybody else shows up.
Yeah.
But there's no bridge in Endgame.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But yeah, I think overall, the nitpicks are over. I think overall it was a good movie.
I
enjoyed it.
I think it touched me a lot of ways that I didn't think it would happen because of the fact that I hadn't seen much of it. A lot of the stuff like Black Widow's death hit me less so than I think it probably does other people, but still, I was like, wow, like she's actually fucking dead.
Yeah.
And I like that they spent a moment to talk about the fact that she's not coming back. That also opens up to me a separate thing where if Cap went to go return all the stones, how did he return the Soul Stone? You get the Soul Stone by sacrificing someone you love. Mm-hmm. So how would he go and return that?
True. Maybe he just gave it. Just
handed it back to Red Skull and was like, "Here's the stone.
Here's the stone.
Put it back or whatever."
Back. I don't know. Who knows, man?
I don't know. I mean, the movie is really good, and it's very easy to look at some of the plot holes in it. Mm-hmm. But overall, it's a very enjoyable movie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. To me, I don't want to compare it to The Last Jedi, but it had a very similar effect on me, where the movie has some issues with it, but I'm willing to look past it in the sake of just that movie. You know, The Last Jedi has some terrible flaws in it, but it's still, to me, an enjoyable movie to watch. Mm-hmm. Just in context with everything else, and this isn't about Endgame, this is just about The Last Jedi, it didn't hit as high as all the other Star Wars movies. Mm-hmm. You know, where Endgame, I think it fit in really well with what I know from Marvel, but there's still those plot holes that you can dissect and go, well, how did this, where the fuck did the Pegasus come from? That lady was writing.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, with the internet's Tessa Thompson or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, where did that come from? You know, stuff like that. But it's also easy to just go, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm enjoying this movie no matter what.
Mm-hmm. I think, too, like Victor and I are pretty big Star Wars fans.
Huge.
Like, we know the lore, and going into The Last Jedi, we thought it was a really good movie at first.
When I left the theater, I was like, that's a good fucking Star Wars movie.
Yeah. And then we watched it. Did we watch it in theaters again? I think I did.
I don't think I saw it again in theaters. I think I watched it again like a year later on DVD.
Yeah, I watched it again, and I was like, at first I hated Rose anyway. I didn't think Rose was a good character either way. The fuck, dude? We're always talking about Last Jedi.
I know, it keeps coming back. I'm sorry I brought it up.
It's all good.
It's all my fault.
But the fact is that since we're big Star Wars fans, we go into The Last Jedi thinking that it was pretty good, and then we look over it and we're like, this movie kind of sucks. You know, film-wise in comparison to
I would say continuity to the entire story-wise, it sucked.
Yeah.
But as a standalone Star Wars film, it's all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
There's just like those, I mean, there's plot points, and the writing is just, it kind of, you know, falls flat.
Yeah.
But like, for Marvel fans, I don't think that really, I don't think it affects them that much, because overall, I think it was a better movie than The Last Jedi for the Marvel fans.
Oh, easily. Yeah, I think Endgame is one of the best Marvel movies made. Yeah. You know? Because of the fact that you didn't, like, I feel like a lot of the intro movies that I have seen all felt the same.
Right.
You know? And I think it's a common criticism of Marvel is that they have a formula that they do every origin story is practically the same. You know, they get their powers, they fight a bad guy, and it resolves within that movie.
Yeah.
You know, and then they add that hero to the ensemble, you know, into the cast of all the other heroes. And that's, I think, where that really shines, is when they have all their heroes together.
Right.
So, I don't know what they're going to do now after Endgame, because they're going to have to introduce new characters.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to go back to the old, tried and true intros, origin stories.
Yeah.
To then have these new characters come in. But, I don't know. I probably won't see any of the other ones until the next big movie.
True.
So.
Me either. So, well, spoilers over.
Spoilers are over now.
Welcome back.
Hello.
Welcome back to the people that, or I guess they fuck it, dude. Welcome back to the podcast. I know you just skipped over it. We just finished the spoiler review. I think overall, non-spoiler review was decent. I think the movie was good. You know, I mean, Victor and I, like we said before,
said it multiple times now.
Not the biggest Marvel fans. We don't know the lore, but I think it was a good movie. There's some nitpicks that we had, but you know, I enjoyed it, and that's just how it is. That's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Probably won't watch it until it comes out on Netflix, maybe.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it on Netflix
or whatever the fuck, or the Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, it might be out on Disney Plus by the time it gets out.
Yeah.
But you know it. Yeah. Anyway.
Good film.
Good film. You should definitely go see it, no matter what. Even if you're not into Marvel, go see it because it's a good movie. It's a good time.
For Marvel fans, I'd probably say it's a 9 out of 10. For me, I'd probably give it a 7.
7?
7.
Probably give it 7 or 8. Yeah, right in between there. So then I guess we'll talk about the next movie that we wanted to talk about last week, but we saved it for this week.
Right.
Guava Island.
Guava Island.
The boy Childish Gambino. Yeah, yam beans in a can.
Did you see the shoes he released with the Adidas?
I
Those
saw
look
that.
really nice.
I saw at Coachella he airdropped a free pair to anyone that accepted it.
Really?
Yeah, so if you had an iPhone at Coachella and you were on it, he airdropped a thing that said, take this picture, like, save this and bring it up to the booth and they'll give you a free pair of the shoes.
That's sick.
That's
kind of weird.
Which is awesome.
It's weird because he's like, don't fucking use your, like, quit being on your phone.
Well, I don't think it was during his concert. It might have been like
Probably
right before or like
yeah,
right after.
For sure.
But I know that he did that.
I mean, he probably doesn't care that much people are on their phones. He might a little bit.
I feel like he would.
Dude, I would.
During the show.
Yeah. I definitely would record a little bit of it because he's my god.
Yeah.
But then I would just... Because, like, I'm not going to sit there on my phone and look at the concert through my phone.
Right.
You know, I'm going to put my phone away and enjoy it. Which, goddamn it, we couldn't see the Seattle concert. God. It still hurts me.
Yeah, it still pisses me off.
It still hurts. It's fucking... Dude, Seattle cucked us. Because they had to remodel.
That was the only reason we couldn't see it. Was because they remodeled and he canceled the entire show.
The only show that he didn't reschedule was the one we were going to.
I know. We could have probably went to another one, but we already had the trip planned out. We already had everything ready.
Yeah.
The money set aside to go to the show. Mm-hmm. And then, now you got to wait 2 more months and go to a completely farther away city.
And then, yeah.
Without a place to stay, you know.
Yeah, and then, you know, funds were a little tight at
by
that time.
Point, yeah.
So he just fucking sold the tickets, which I made a profit off of, which is good. I'd rather not make a profit and go to that concert, but it's all good.
Exactly.
So, Guava Island.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. It was shorter than I expected, but right. I think it was very, very interesting and very cool. Because I liked the fact... So, when he released, you know, Because of the Internet, that came with a screenplay. Mm-hmm. You know, about a movie that could be made with the album in mind.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool, and I liked that he then took a lot of these songs that he's released in the past year and a half, 2 years, mm-hmm. and made a movie with those in it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was awesome.
I thought it was cool. I
wasn't expecting it either.
Yeah. At all. I honestly thought it was just going to be a movie. I didn't think it was like a pseudo-musical, kind of.
Yeah. But it was like only with him singing.
Yeah.
Like when he started doing This Is America, I was like, wait a minute here, hold on. And then he actually started singing the actual song. Because at first it was like almost a cappella, you know, and then it added instruments as he went along. Mm-hmm. And then he went full-blown into the song, and I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then all the other ones, he did really well also.
Yeah. Dude, Rihanna looked like she hated her life. Doing that movie.
Exactly. And she never looked happy in that entire film.
I know. Like, why?
Like, come on.
I mean, the Reds versus Blue thing, I mean, I guess kind of is something to think about always, but...
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do? Just be happy.
Yeah, you're fucking dating Donald Glover.
Yeah, hello? And you're also Rihanna? Why aren't you happy? You know, whatever.
Maybe that was her character, though.
Yeah.
You know, maybe she was written like that, but I don't know. To me, that just kind of seemed odd with how, like, upbeat he was compared to how, like, she would kind of be upbeat, but she would kind of just be like, I don't know.
I think, the scene where he did Summertime Magic, and I think it was Summertime Magic.
I think so.
When he was singing to her, he was, like, dancing and shit and, like, he was happy as hell. And Rihanna's standing there just, like, staring at him.
Well, I don't think he was happy as hell because he got his guitar broken right before that.
Yeah.
You know, he got threatened by the
But
big
he was
boss.
still in it, you know?
Yeah, he was still trying to be like, everything's cool, you know? Like, let's be happy.
And Rihanna was just like...
something's wrong. Like, what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
But
I don't know if it's Rihanna herself, not...
I think it was the character.
Right.
I think that the character was written to be a little bit more pessimistic about things. Mm-hmm. Because he's supposed to be, like, the guy that... Like, in the beginning, you know, animation, he's the guy that kept coming back to her. And, you know, she even said, you need to work on the song or whatever. And he kept coming back and kept singing it because they have different songs and stuff. And that's how they grew close and started dating and shit. Mm-hmm. You know? And I just feel like her character was a bit more of a pessimist and his was more of an optimist.
Probably, yeah.
But I don't know for sure. I've only seen it once, and I probably should watch it again.
Yeah.
Because it's not like it's that long. It's 50 minutes.
Like,
not that bad to watch. Mm-hmm. But...
Yeah, as Don Lover fans, that sounds sus. Sounds sus as hell. But, whatever. As childish fans, it's a very good movie.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy it.
I was not expecting him to get shot at the end of it.
Yeah, me either.
I guess that's a spoiler, but it's fucking just watch it.
It's been out for like a month now. Yeah, a month or two.
Matter.
The funeral was so weird, like seeing him in a casket.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I was like, yeah, Jesus. But they got their day off. That was the whole point, was that, he couldn't do the concert because no one would show up to work the next day. Mm-hmm. Well, no one really did show up to work the next day because the guy fucking shot him.
Either way, they didn't show up.
Yeah.
So that sucks, but,
I don't know. I really
There's your payoff.
It. Yeah. I really enjoyed the little, kind of as like a short film, I guess. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, but I know some people didn't. Mm-hmm. But to me, it was a good movie.
It's our Gambino bias coming into play.
That's true. So,
decent
movie.
Yeah, I didn't love it as much as you did at first. I don't think. Yeah. I wasn't like obsessed, but I was like, "This is good. I like this."
I wasn't like obsessed with it. I just really enjoyed watching it. Mm-hmm. While I was watching it, I was like, "This is really cool. Mm-hmm. Like, I really like this."
Yeah, for sure.
And I still really do. I think it's a really good short film. If you're a fan of Gambino, you need to watch it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessary to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that movie's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I don't know what else to say about it. I know we kind of hyped it up, being like, we're going to talk about it next week. And we don't really have much to say about it now.
There's not really much to say other than if you like his music and you like him as a person and as like an actor, director, producer,
then it's a good place to get all of it in one.
Right. Exactly. We should just change this to the fucking Donald Glover podcast.
We should.
The Last Jedi podcast.
Right. The Last podcast.
The Crimes of Grindelwald podcast.
The Rise of Podcast.
The Rise of Skywalker, dude.
Bad.
Shitty trailer.
We talked about it last week.
Not trailer. Shitty name.
We did talk about it last week.
Yeah, we did. But goddamn.
I
don't know what they're going to do.
Don't know either. Let's not talk about it because we already talked about it. I'm going to rehash old stuff.
Yeah. So I watched Game of Thrones episode 1.
Yeah, tell me about that. To preface this, I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. I'm currently on par with the TV show each week. I've seen it a couple times. Well, I've seen it about twice through, and I've read the first 2 books. So
true.
And I've seen a lot of lore videos, a lot of explanation videos, a lot of stuff about it. So I feel like I'm pretty knowledgeable about the series.
He's in it. For sure.
I'm about as in it as Zach is Harry Potter.
Right.
That's our 2 little vices there.
Yeah.
So what did you think of the first episode?
It didn't quite catch me, and I understand it's, the first episode. I gotta watch more.
Yeah.
But, I learned about the characters. I learned about,
the Starks and the Lannisters.
The Starks, yeah. And Emilia Clarke is super good looking. And,
yeah.
Yeah, she was... Yeah, I don't know what's going on with her character. She's like...
She got married to Khal Drogo.
Was she kind of forced into that?
Yeah, it was a forced marriage.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the movie when they're at the movie.
The show.
The show.
It feels like a movie.
The end of the the show where they're on like the beach or whatever, and he's like undressing her, and she was not okay with it.
It's a rape scene. Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Jesus. And fucking Peter Dinklage was getting hooers left and right.
You're right.
Like a madman. Yeah, I was like, hell yeah, dude. Sick.
Yeah.
Gang.
And what do you think about Jaime and Cersei with each other getting all close? The queen and her brother.
Yeah, at the end of it, I was like, wow, weird.
Yeah.
And then the fucking Bran shows up.
Yeah, he's pushed out a window.
Yeah, so I don't know what happens.
Keep watching, you'll find out.
I know. But yeah, overall, I think it was enjoyable. It gave me some Lord of the Rings vibes.
Yeah, well, it's definitely. George R.R. Martin took inspiration from Lord of the Rings because that came out before he wrote these.
Right. So
he's a big fan of Tolkien, and his kind of thing is that Tolkien's very heavy magic in a way, like Sauron and the ring and shit's all pretty much heavy magic.
Yeah, wizards and shit.
Where he went for more of a kind of realistic.
I feel like Game
fantasy.
of Thrones is definitely more bare bones fantasy.
Yeah,
more than
it's more of a character fantasy than it is a like high fantasy.
Odds and ends magic.
Yeah. But it definitely has some Lord of the Rings vibes, and that's why I think you would like it, because you like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
You know, if you keep going, there's more magic as the series goes on.
Yeah.
But definitely at the beginning there isn't much.
Yeah. I kind of had the impression that there wasn't going to be magic at all. Like I saw what's Amelia's character's name?
Daenerys.
Daenerys
Targaryen.
When the one dude gave her the dragon egg, I was like, okay, we're gonna start getting into like the more crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty bare bones at first, and it was kind of just character establishment.
Yeah, and that's what basically
what it is.
The first part of the first season is a lot of seeing what's gonna happen, where's it going, kind of the build up to the end of the season, plus the beginning of the actual real big storylines.
And the king wants fucking Ned to go rule with him and leave his family and shit.
Sean Bean, he plays Boromir too, so he's in Lord of the Rings.
Right, and Amelia's brother, Daenerys. He plays in the Theory of Everything, Steven's best friend.
Oh,
so I noticed that. I was like, that guy looks familiar.
Yeah. And
god damn it, you got to watch that movie.
I know.
Please.
I know. I will.
It's really good, man. I'm starting Lord of the Rings. Game of Thrones for you.
I know. I'll watch it. I still have to watch those 2 other movies.
I know. I gotta stop giving you my things.
I know. And I just bought another movie I'm gonna watch today.
Fuck you. I give Victor things. I give him like games and stuff to borrow, and then I don't see them for like a year.
You want them back? Ask for them.
I want you to use them.
I do.
I want you to watch the movies, man.
I do use them in my own time.
John Wick's really short. It's like an hour and 20 minutes, 30. And John Wick 3 is coming out this summer.
I'll definitely watch the first 2 John Wicks so we can go see the third together.
Right. It's super badass.
But anyway, so I want to keep talking about Game of Thrones if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what happens in the very first episode. What'd you think of King Robert?
Remind me.
He's the king.
The king.
The big fat guy.
Oh yeah.
No, he's not a big fat guy. He's a big.
He's a large individual.
Yeah.
Seems pretty nice to Ned.
Yeah. Well, they were best friends.
They were homies. But then he's just kind of like forcing him to go rule with him and leave his family and stuff, and I'm just like, damn, that's a conflict. That is a conflict right there.
That is.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't have much to say really. I've only seen the first episode, but
well, I'm gonna check in with you every podcast and see how you're doing on it.
For sure.
By the next time we record, I will have watched at least one of the movies you gave me. I guarantee it.
I hope so.
I guarantee it.
What's the other one? Oh, Spider-Verse.
John Wick, or Theory of Everything. I'll watch one of them by the time we get to the next podcast.
True.
Or maybe both. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm not going to give you this until you watch the other 2.
It's fine. I could always watch it on Netflix. I think it's on there.
It is on Netflix. True.
So, well, I say we call it there.
It's about time.
It is about time.
Victor has to do adult stuff.
I do.
I'm off today. Hell yeah. I have to go back tomorrow.
I have to go to work.
Going to the Harry Potter in Orchestra on Saturday.
Yeah, that sounds awesome, dude.
Tickets were $60.
That's crazy. But it does support the local symphony. So.
That's right. And it's worth.
It is worth.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, you have to tell us about it on the next podcast, how it was.
Yeah.
That seems really cool to see so how are they going to do it with the movie? Do they cut out the songs in the movie? And like just have dialogue? Or is the songs from the movie still play and they just play with it?
I'm not sure, because they'd have to probably blast the movie, because it's a whole orchestra. It's going to be loud as hell.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know how they're going to do that. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, you have to report back with it.
For sure.
Well, thank you for listening, the Squadcast listeners.
This was the 5th episode.
It has been a 5th episode of a podcast. That's today.
Yeah.
As always, we are sponsored by MeUndies and Squarespace. Use code SQUAD at checkout.
Use code SQUAD on literally everything.
Everything that you can use a code on, put in SQUAD.
Throw in
it
SQUAD.
Might work. Might not be our code, but it might work.
Yeah. So, you never know. You never know unless you try.
Yeah, so shout out to Endgame, shout out to Guava Island. And
shout out to all of the things we talked about.
All of the 3 things that we talked about.
Mm-hmm. So, shout out to Game of Thrones. Shout out to Amelia.
Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark, super good looking.
Super cool.
She's great. She's a great actress.
She is.
She's fucking hot as hell. Anyways, thanks for listening. This was the 5th episode of the Squadcast. We'll catch you next week when Victor watches the fucking movies, finally.
One of the movies, at least.
We'll see. We'll see if I even remember to watch Game of Thrones.
You better.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, let's make a deal. You watch the shits, I'll watch the shits.
Yeah, that's our deal.
All right.
We'll shake on it. Shook.
Did you hear that? That friction? That's a handshake.
That was a shook.
That was a shook. Anyways, thanks for listening. God damn it, longest outro of all time. We'll catch you next week on the Squadcast.
Bye.
Brow.